Hi, I'm Debbie Osborne, and today I want to talk to you about embracing the power of the word "and." In foster parenting or step parenting, there are very few simple and easy solutions. Most of the time, it is a slog and a challenge, and just a matter of spending the time it takes to establish the relationship. But a few years ago, I discovered a pretty simple little technique that actually can transform both your perspective and your relationships. It comes from a type of therapy known as Dialectical Behavior Therapy. Now, I'm not a therapist, I'm not trained in DBT, and I've never been through a therapy session with it. But a few years ago, I was on the board of an organization, Hillside, that uses DBT successfully to work with young people. And I realized that there was a technique that they were teaching the children there that I could carry over into my life. And it's called using the word "and." Now, think through the things that we tend to think about in our lives. We find ourselves working with situations that seem to have completely opposite, diametrically opposed statements that are true at the same time. I love my child, but my child is driving me crazy. And at least I always tended to phrase those in terms of "but." And what happens is we slide back and forth between one and the other. We're always trying to find a place in the middle, but we swing from one end to the other, never quite able to reconcile it. Well, DBT is a technique that teaches you how to take both of those seemingly opposite statements or places and find a place in the middle by recognizing that they're both true at the same time. So, in other words, we start saying A and B instead of A but B. And just think about some of the phrases that we use and how the meanings change. I love my child, but he drives me crazy becomes I love my child and he drives me crazy. That's a perspective that we realize both are true, and we don't have to choose between one or the other. It becomes something that can be very powerful in talking to our kids as well. When we say to them, well, I'm very disappointed, but I still love you, that sounds like, to them, like we're trying to decide which one of those to choose. If we say to them, I'm very disappointed and I love you, then they start realizing that we do love them and we're disappointed. And they start being able themselves to follow what we're modeling, which is recognizing that two things are true and we can work to synthesize the two of them. So just think for a moment about some of the things that we say to their kids and how much the meaning changes. If we say, I'm sorry you had a bad day, but it's time to do the dishes. If that becomes, I'm sorry you had a bad day, and now it's time to do the dishes. It's a completely different attitude and a completely different phrase. So start thinking through your life, some of the things that you may say to your kids, and start thinking about how you can embrace the power of "and." It can be used in a lot of controversies that we have with our kids. Think, for example, I know that's the way you do it at the other house, and these are the rules here. I know that I'm not your biological parent, and I still love you. All of those things can be very powerful if we just stop and think and train ourselves to embrace the power of "and."